Well, yeah, I'm just gonna.
Sharks, Terry.
Hang on a second, Dan. Hang on.
We got a show.
Hey.
Terry, we got a show.
Just hang on a second, Dan.
You are so annoying.
Where have you sent me now, Dan?
Hey guys, welcome back to this week's Terry looks a little different this week. This week's Rugby League Outlaws. We're of course brought to you by Top Sport and the Stubby Club. Make sure you like and subscribe where possible. Just want to give a huge shout out to my mate Mitch, who's come on to save us. Terry has been sent away because he just wouldn't shut up about how good the Sharks were. So of course I've invited a Sharks fan on. But mate, let's get down to it. Huge week of Rugby League. The hair pull. What were your thoughts?
Does he know any good barbers in Penrith?
His hair was long. It's there to pull. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Stephen Crichton goes to the barber every 4 days, doesn't he? So he must know someone who can give him a trim.
It's in the squad. Now, the overreaction to this has been ridiculous. Everyone's saying, oh, but what if this and what if that? When's the last time there was a hair pull penalty? I dare you to tell me.
Well, they did. I think they did bring something in the broadcast, but yeah,
it's been a long time.
It was 1,000% accidental.
It was accidental.
Yeah.
Would you have given it a penalty?
It was contact with the head, so I don't know.
See, there's accidental high shots, there's accidental shoulders. For me, it's a penalty because you pull your hair, you get a penalty.
Correct.
Should it be a penalty though? Because his hair hangs down into the jersey. And as you said, it was completely accidental. Tyson Frizzell's grabbed the guy's collar and his hair was there. If that was Nathan Cleary, there's no penalty because he doesn't have long hair.
But are you positing that he's trying to use it as some sort of competitive advantage? And
that's exactly what I'm saying. For me, it's a penalty. It's completely accidental.
Yes.
All the talk of players growing hair long to get penalties, I think is ridiculous.
No.
But if you've got a hairstyle that long and it occasionally gets pulled once in a season, so be it, I say.
And live with it. Hey, he'd take it. He got the penalty, so.
Look, he certainly did.
Yeah.
And it's always fun watching Newcastle win in front of the home fans. I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Newcastle competed hard, but there's probably a little bit too much institutional intelligence there from Penrith. And they got him home that game.
They did, plus the halfbacks. Yeah, pretty good at football.
He's all right, yeah. He's all right. Don't get me wrong, Newcastle fullback, big fan of him.
Yep, fair call.
Not his goal kicking, though.
Now, Origin is coming up, in case you haven't seen the 333 ads telling you as such. New South Wales.
Only been mentioned since about the 3rd minute of the first game.
Exactly right. Yeah. Everyone jumps in, and then when Origin's there...
A bit late this year.
A couple of players, might lose their spots. And this will be, full disclosure, this will be on Zero Attack in a couple of days, covered by yours truly. The outside backs and back row seems to be a point of contention. Of course, we have Angus Crichton coming back via New South Wales Cup, so he probably won't play Origin. Liam Martin is 1, not very good, and 2, injured. Who's going to play in the back row for the Blues?
Well, we had a couple of good candidates. One of them's now injured in Colin Matangi.
Yeah, it's a real bugger because I had him number 1, just quietly.
He's got a lot of fans in the New South Wales setup and, in rugby league.
And on this couch right here.
Okolawatu?
Yeah, I think Ola Kawatu just slots right in with Colin Matangi.
Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, sir. Please don't bash me. But yeah, what about that guy? Just seems like he had a ripper off season and that was all it took. He's fit, firing, looks just a specimen. So.
He looks focused too.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, to be in that Origin arena, that's what you need. You need someone who's got it up here.
Absolutely right. Now, of course, Cam Murray will probably play on the other side. I still maintain he's better in the middle, but with Isaiah, you have to find a spot for both.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's one spot, and with Colin Matangi gone, you leaning towards Ola Kawatu, because I certainly am.
Yeah, and well, he plays on the right. Cameron Murray, I think he will just fit. He'll fit in wherever you want.
He played well.
It makes me sick how much of a fan I am of Cameron Murray.
Completely fair.
Being that he plays for South.
That's completely fair. We're all friends here, Mitch.
Ultimate rugby league player, that guy. That's looking like a pretty good, decent back row there. Now,
off camera, you mentioned a name, Sean Lane. I would say on the other side, Ryan Madison is far more likely to play Origin.
Yeah. I was more just bringing that up that his name was being mentioned. So, you make a good point there. Madison would be probably the next guy in line there. He'll be looking good for a bench spot there.
Now, with the centres, I don't want any argument here because there is no argument. It's Trell and Turbo. Anyone who says otherwise doesn't watch this great game of rugby league.
Yeah. Sorry, Campbell Graham. I think he would be great in the Origin arena. Can tackle all day, and this year scoring a lot of tries.
Mate, he's fantastic, but he's not Trell Mitchell or Tommy Turbo. Now, of course, Turbo's about $1 million to 1 to play all 3 games, and I say that with a smile, but also like, damn it, because we need him.
Yeah.
Campbell Graham can slot into either side. Oh, I'm not worried.
Yeah, well, I will gladly welcome back Latrell and Tommy Turbo because they were the reason why we didn't win the series last year.
Yeah, exactly right.
They were out, we lose. Year before, we brain them.
Well, Jack Whiten was good last year in the first game, had COVID, then was overlooked in the third. Looks like he might be retiring, which opens up the bench utility spot for mine because he's a perfect 14. We'll discuss that later because there's 1,000 players. The one I think, though, Jerome Luai or Nico Hines, who plays 6?
Well, Nico Hines.
It's Nico Hines. Anyone who says otherwise, again, is a dope.
I'd take Matt Burton as well.
One thing I did notice this weekend, and it's been over the year, is that crowds are up in sellouts, which, a couple of years ago weren't a thing, really. It's every weekend now. Now, of course, we're Sharks fans, and it comes with a bit of an asterisk because 15 people can get in Shark Park at any given time. But we saw massive crowds. Like, there was 20,769 approximately, exactly, per game this week. Despite some people on other competing channels that, we pretend to like, but we don't, saying that rugby league is dead and buried, I think it's the opposite. I think it's better than ever, and the crowds back me up.
Well, what are the reasons for this? I think, we're not getting improvements at our stadium anytime soon, but there's some pretty good stadiums in Sydney right now.
They're absolutely right.
Allianz Stadium, very nice stadium.
Oh.
You've been there, I've been there.
The best.
Great time. And Combank Stadium as well. So that maybe have something to do with it. People are turning up to the games because they're having a good time while they're there, and they think, hey, geez, I'm not going to come back just once this year. I might come back twice or 3 times, or I might get a membership, season ticket.
No, completely fair. We also saw the Titans sell out against the Broncos. That hasn't happened for a while up there. Of course, the reverse fixture will. The Warriors also put the full house sign up, and so did Manly. And look, we know Manly fans, they're a little bit fickle, I think that's fair to say. They're going pretty well this season, and the crowd are backing them up, which is good to see.
That crowd was very loud on Friday night. You could hear that coming through the TV, and their PA seemed to be even louder than the Sharks' PA.
Yeah, which isn't easy to do.
ACDC levels there.
It was good.
And they've got a nice new stand at one end of their ground as well.
They do, yeah.
So obviously there's people like sitting down that end of the ground right now. Can the Sharks please have one too? And also, you brought up the Titans. Very comfortable stadium as well.
Brilliant stadium.
You've been there. It's mini Suncorp.
It is mini Suncorp.
Yeah.
I love it. Plus the Titans are going well and the Broncos are absolutely killing it. The Brisbane rivalries are picked up, and I actually think the Dolphins have a lot to do with that. But the big one for me was Newcastle. I haven't heard a crowd up there that loud for a long, long time. It was a shame they lost because I wanted to hear them sing the song at the end, plus I hate Penrith. But Newcastle winning is good for rugby league.
And also, that crowd's going to turn up again next week. That team keeps putting in performances like that, they're going to show up. Now,
the negative, with good comes bad. All I've heard this year is that the Sharks can't back up. They're not going to do what they did last year. This weekend suggests that probably we can.
Yes.
One team, though, that I haven't seen that from is the North Queensland Cowboys, who Terry and I tipped to come last year, and have been reminded about that ad nauseum. We deserve it. They made a prelim. I think they'll be making a prelim this year.
Well, the most damning stat from their game was their entries into the 20.
Yeah.
It was almost double. And I don't know, their attack was impotent.
Yeah, it was. Now, would you, because I would, say that the halfback has a little bit to do with that?
Is that the guy I'm a big fan of?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to play for the Sharks.
Yeah, he used to play for the Sharks.
Could be a bit of second year syndrome there.
Oh, it's a Chad Townsend tax. Full disclosure, I said on camera before, and I'll cop it if he plays well again this year, he's never put 2 good years in a row.
Yeah.
He's like latter day Sean Johnson, because early day Sean Johnson was a freak. Tom Dearden didn't look very good this week. They've got Jake Granville playing at prop. Scott Drinkwater has just forgotten how to play rugby league.
I don't think he's very good.
I love Scott Drinkwater.
No,
I said we wanted him at Cronulla last year before we became good.
I think he's got a clanger in him at any time, in any point of the game.
Completely fair.
And I just think his ambition far outweighs his talent from time to time.
Completely fair. But I just want to say, They've got Jordan McLean, who played for New South Wales last year, ridiculously and hilariously. And they've got Cohen Hess, who played for Queensland.
Not very well, though.
No, he didn't, but he played for Queensland. Now, you put them on the bench
Queensland.
for Cohen Hess and Jake Granville. Todd Payton, still talking in the Dally M acceptance speech, went on forever. I think he's got second-year syndrome.
I'm failing to see how a team that has Tuilagi and Nene in their side is failing to score points.
Well, when your halfback can't get him the ball, just saying.
Yeah. Have they got any better options at fullback?
No. I love Scott Drinkwater. Everyone's favourite tackle in rugby league, the hip drop. We saw penalties, we saw suspensions, we saw sin bins this week. What we're not seeing is sense, because I went through and rewatched the Sharks game the other night, and there were 3 or 4 hip drops. One got penalised in sin bin. You know why? Because Nickera got injured. It's only a penalty and a reaction to injuries.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I was talking to a guy at the ground about this on Friday night, and I'm saying accidents happen. And are we starting to legislate that there are guilty bystanders in the game of rugby league? Because sometimes if you fall off a tackle and an accident happens, what do you get? You're guilty of being a bystander. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah, I find myself flip-flopping on this week to week.
Me too. It depends on how bad it is. Now, I've got a problem with the hip drop in general. I don't think it's good, and I understand you do as well.
Yeah, well, I've had them committed on me by my daughters, and they're awful. They weigh all of about 15 kilos, and they're horrible. So I imagine a 115 kilo rugby league player landing on the back of your legs is not nice.
No, I couldn't say it wouldn't be a fun afternoon at the game, that's for sure. Okay, I'm okay with them over policing it because I want the tackle gone.
Yeah.
But there are times where a player's got a hold of a player. They break through and the guy falls.
And your instinct as a rugby league player is to, I'm slipping off this tackle, I better let him go.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So you're going to hold on. There's going to be 10 or 11 of these a game. The ones that are bad, I'm okay with being penalised. This week we saw Nat Butcher sent to the sin bin for a hip drop, 1 week. Dale Finucane, 3 weeks. Similar tackle.
And I think Dales was one of those accidental things that I'm talking about.
Yep, I'm completely biased, but I agree.
I think they've got to be talking about the intention and figuring out a way in the movement, what they're doing. Say if there's a tugging motion or, shifting your weight and bringing your arms down. I think that is an illegal move. But when guys are just, hanging on for dear life and it's an accident, I don't know.
They have to define a hip drop.
Yeah.
I said last week, James Graham and Cooper Cronk, who, probably know a little bit more about football than you and I, humbly.
Played about 1,000 games.
Yeah.
And that's close.
Can't agree on what a hip drop is.
Yeah.
It needs to be defined, and Graham Annesley needs to come out on Monday or Tuesday this week and say, this is a hip drop, this is what we're looking for, as you said, and start penalising it.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but it's going to keep going.
I do think they'll probably define it a bit better, but
It's going to keep
they're overcautious at the moment.
The bunker. Oh, the bunker. Okay, I'm going to play a devil's advocate here. We saw on Saturday night, we saw a player sent to the sin bin. We saw them challenged, and it come back, not even a sin bin, not a penalty. We need the bunker. We need the video. It is there.
Yep.
We need the captain's challenge, which I want to go on record as saying is one of the best introductions I've seen.
I think we need 2
modern
captain challenges, but anyway.
Completely fair, because if you get one wrong early, Cronulla, Toby Rudolph, it's gone, and you miss a chance.
First half, second half, we should have them.
Completely fair, 100% agreed. What we did see, though, on Friday night was a ball go up, Campbell Graham clearly pushed the defender out of the way, catch the ball and score. Everyone goes, that's coming back.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Would you say it was shoulder to shoulder, would you?
No, he got him in the back.
He pushed him.
Yeah.
He pushed him into row 3, and they've come back. The commentator said, well, that's, no worries. I was on Channel 9, and because Foxtel goes a minute and a half behind, I went back to Foxtel, and both agreed it was a clear push.
Yeah.
I thought it was a clear push.
Yeah.
And they took one look, try confirmed.
Yeah, that's been getting me too. The try confirms have coming a little bit quick sometimes. Before you've even seen a second or a third replay, or even a put down sometimes.
That's true.
And they're going try confirm, and you're like, oh, hello, can we just wait maybe 10 or 15 seconds longer?
It's funny you mention that, because Jermaine Azarko, there was another try later on that South scored. Jermaine Azarko was sitting, on the sideline, and the ball touched him. They didn't look at a second replay of that. That we saw. Now, we don't get the bunker feed. We get supposedly what they're watching, but they have multiple camera angles.
Yeah, are they seeing things quicker than we do?
They must do, is all I can think of. Now, we're seeing what they're seeing only when their voice is heard, evidently.
Okay.
So they've got a
Yeah.
whole lot of a plethora, nicely done, of other angles. We weren't shown one that showed what was ruled upon.
Yeah.
Now, evidently, there was a screen cap later posted on Twitter that showed Azarka was about this far in. I dare say it needed more than 1 or 2 looks.
Yeah.
I would have been happy if that went up, as we saw with Ronaldo, then look, okay, and rule upon it, because I don't know if 1 look's enough for mine.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't like Twitter dorks, so...
Mitch,
Yes, Dan.
it's time to talk some black, white and blue.
And guess what?
What?
I'm bringing the shark energy today.
Ah, you're guilty. There's a throwback that only few of us will understand.
Yes.
What? Just quickly, before we hit the points I've written down, what were your thoughts of Friday night's victory over the Roosters?
We've got some bogey teams. The Roosters, the Raiders, the Broncos, and...
Manly until last year.
Oh, yeah, Manly. Let's not forget Manly. That's institutional, just, you know.
Year on year, it is what it is.
Yes. So it's always great to break a duck against the Roosters. I looked it up. It was 2017. I think it was around round 17 game. I remember it well because we played them in Gosford and we absolutely brained them. And I thought, we can go back to back here. Didn't work out that way in 2017.
No, it didn't.
That was the last time we beat them, Dan.
Yeah, I remember the Luke Lewis 100-metre intercept.
Magnificent.
But now it's very easy to remember when we last beat them this past Friday night. You know what, though? Nice little segue. We beat them in all 3 grades.
Oh, wonderful.
So the New South Wales Cup, and for those who didn't see, they named an all-star forward pack. Dylan Napper, Angus Crichton, Nathan Brown. Now, Stili Tupanua played, but he played for the Bears because they have to provide a certain amount of players. And then I think Wong played. He's played a bit of first grade this year. It was like legitimately a first grade forward pack.
And who won the game, Dan?
And Newtown won. It was about 42-18 or 46-18. They absolutely pantsed them. The our boys took it as a challenge. They said, this is a pretty good forward pack. We're going to go out and beat them because I dare say our forwards outplayed their... Nathan Brown was the other one. Let's face it, that's a rep quality pack playing at Henson Park. I just want to take a moment.
Origin players in there.
Angus Crichton may play Origin in a couple of weeks' time. Matt Shervington, who, let's point out, once hosted Super Saturday, came out and said that almost 9,000 people made it to the game at Newtown to watch Angus Crichton return.
Fair income.
Yeah, there were about 3,000 people there, but for those that don't know, Newtown always announced 8,792, and he didn't check.
Oh, okay.
Almost 9,000, but I was in tears when I saw it.
But he's a big rugby league fan, Dan.
Yeah, huge. We hosted a game. He
knows all about the history of the Newtown Jets.
Oh, I was enjoying it very much. And of course, the big one, we beat them, but Jersey Flegg, they were undefeated, the Roosters, top of the table. And the poor old Sharkies, who were like third, also undefeated. And with the game in hand, now sit 1 try behind them, delivering their first loss of the season.
Great work.
That's a weekend you want to remember, right?
Yeah, all 3 grades. 3 out of 3.
And they all count.
Yes.
They all count. Of course, this week, Will Kennedy re-signed. Officially, we heard this was the case many weeks ago.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's great. I think the guy is playing with a lot of confidence. He's very sure of himself. He's been our best player all year.
Yep.
You know, he has played every game. Nico Hines has not, but yeah, Will's a standout. Let's keep him. Let's keep it going. I think he's a guy, if you back him, he'll back himself.
I absolutely agree. He looks bigger, he looks happier, and he looks more confident. It's funny what happens when you're not playing with 2 separate injuries. As he was last year in the finals, where, let's be honest, he was not good.
Yeah, anyone who gave him any junk for that last year just, doesn't read injury reports and realises how hard it is to tackle with a bung shoulder and run with a bung ankle.
It's completely fair. I'm really, really happy. I think he was linked to the Tigers, which, but money talks, and they could have pinched him with that 1.2 they were going to offer Mitch Moses. So really happy with signing him, which means 90% of our squad, I think 26 of the 30 next year signed down. Royce Hunt has a player option, so you could probably say 27. Teague Wilton's the only one remaining, heavily linked with South and Penrith, but is on record as saying he wants to stay at the Sharks.
Oh, Teague's my hero. So he's taken the mantle from Matt Pryor. I had a couple of years off, but Teague is now my hero. Bit weird that I am a lot older than him, but
That's completely fair.
Stay with us, Teague, please. Please stay with us.
Please, I'll send him this video too. They all watch anyways, but
we've got premiership aspirations, Teague, and you're part of it, mate. So look, he'll know he's in a good spot. So just work it out, Sharks, and yeah.
Let's get it done. Let's get that announced next week.
Yep.
Speaking of announcements, I've been on record as being a little bit impatient about the Sharks NRLW side. I got a little bit jealous of all these teams, especially hearing the players we'd signed, but not having that official announcement. Those that missed it during the week, we announced Quincy Dodd as our inaugural signing.
Fantastic.
I thought it would be the player we'll talk about in a minute because of her pedigree, but Quincy Dodd played for the Tasha Gale Cup, was a local junior and grew up at Cronulla fan. At least that's what she's saying, and why would you lie about it? I think in terms of inaugural signings, this is brilliant. She's an Origin hooker.
Yep.
So that means we've got one good number 9 in the club.
Perfect to make this type of announcement, mate. Yeah. That sounds like it's ticking all the boxes there.
Certainly is, but you want to talk about ticking all the boxes. Yesterday, Sunday footy show, haven't watched it in many years, was told they would be unveiling a signing for the NRLW Sharks. Yeah. A marquee signing, Emma Tonegado.
Oh, wow. Channel 9 still has a Sunday footy show?
They do. It's not very good, but I've watched it once and that'll do for the season.
Okay.
But you obviously missed the situation. Now, I tweeted this out because they had a smoke machine in the in the studio and it set the fire alarms off. So Emma Tonegado had to walk out and do an interview with, please, evacuate. It's pretty amateur hour, but having Emma Tonegado, who's a Dalian medalist from 2021 technically, but she won it in 2022.
Yep.
On Channel 9, in a marquee show, they're in a Sharks polo. It's just fantastic from all of the club.
Now, Emma was the one who played at the Olympics in the sevens, is that right?
Yes, she did. So she's got Olympic pedigree.
Great player.
She's played 6 and 1.
Stoked we've got her.
She is the marquee signing. Now, a few things I just want to, as you mentioned, she's played for the Rugby Sevens team at an Olympics. She won a Dalian medal less than 12 months ago because, and I tried to explain this to people, some people, mate, they played 2 NRL seasons.
Correct, yeah.
2021 was played in 2022. So when I said that the Sharks now have 2 Dalian medalists who won the medal in 2022...
Calendar year 2022.
Factually correct.
Correct.
Now, the Sharks came out and said that we signed 2021 Dalian medalist, and everyone's like, one of you's lying. Neither of us are lying. We're both correct.
2 things can be true at once.
Exactly right. Superstar fullback. Now, our mate Paul did notice something I didn't recognise straight up. I went back and picked up later. She said she'd been up for a positional switch, meaning that she's moving from fullback to number 6.
Okay. Doing a Lockyer.
Doing a Lockyer, but better than Lockyer.
Okay.
Now, I won't go on record because I don't want to start rumours, but Jada Taylor is supposedly supposed to sign for the Sharks as soon as potentially the next few days.
Yeah.
She is pretty handy fullback just between us.
Okay.
Emma Tonegado, the initials are ET. She's come from the Dragons, which makes them hurt.
Yep.
She is the perfect signing.
Yeah, ticking a lot of boxes there too, mate. Presents well. I've seen her on camera. She's fantastic. How long have we signed her for?
2 years.
Oh, can we make it longer?
Well, yeah. I think after she gets a taste of Shark Park at heaving 11,000 people.
And it's sounding like the Sharks are drawing and attracting some good talent for this NRLW team. So
we'll make 2 rep quality players in the spine, free if you add Jada Taylor.
Are we getting our hopes up?
Look, yes, but
Could there be a Sharks premiership this year?
I would like to think there'll be 2 Sharks premierships this year.
Yeah.
But look, I just want to wrap the Sharks for saying 2 from 2. They've absolutely nailed this. If Jada Taylor signs, that's 3 from 3, and that's 3 superstars in a side that had to be put together. Not only does it relegate our good mates over the Tom Uglies, the Dragons, to
the
little
brothers, or little sisters,
but also little sister.
Yes.
Now, a good friend of the show, well, co-host of the show, Terry, is known for being a little bit harsh on a certain number 9, Blake Bradley. Probably not without cause. I don't think Blake's played particularly well this season.
No, he's been, kind of placid.
He has, but this Friday night, he gave us the big FU, mate, and I'm here for it.
I was riding him down the length of PointsBet Stadium, and I'm not a big cheerer, but when he got into that space, I was cheering hard for Blake.
It was glorious. He beat Sam Walker. Now, okay, he had the ball, so Sam Walker did make some ground up. Walker's not a sloth by any stretch.
Yep.
I was so happy he scored that try because we pointed out last week that he's yet to contribute to either a try via scoring or a try assist.
Yep.
He'd had 1 kick, he hadn't forced a drop out. So, he was drawing a big blanket across a couple of them.
Yep.
On Friday night, he's like, mate, I got this.
Yeah, and look, when you're citing those stats, the criticism's probably fair. But yeah, it was super stoked for him to score that try.
Try assist to Nickera?
And you could tell it meant a lot to him too.
I did.
Look, he's had a less than fast start to the year. The defence has been there. I think he should be building off the back of that game this week, and that defensive work he has been put in already this year. Let's see some more try contributions. Like, it gets me excited when he does it. So
that's ultimately what it's all
go
about.
Blakey.
Oh, man, I love it. People think, Blake Brayley played well. You got to eat crow. Happily, we're Sharks fans. We want all 17 players firing.
Yeah, why would we want Blake Brayley to be playing bad?
Exactly
and
right.
be cheering if he was. Like,
It's so ridiculous. But whatever,
Terry did.
I'll take that. Sifa Talakai came out on Instagram on Friday night and put a picture of Ronaldo up and tagged him and said, "That's for all you so-called fans. Get that up here." Mm-hmm. Now, before I heard what this was actually referring to, I put a tweet out that said, if you guys need to be angry at the fans for, giving you grief when you drop 20 points, put a picture of me on a dartboard before the game and throw darts. I don't care.
Yeah.
They answered so many critics, myself included. So I was very down on them after they dropped that 20-point loss.
Well, they must have put a few holes for that massive head of yours, mate, because
you can't miss.
he was safe as houses.
Exactly right. They were both very, very good.
And they targeted him. They kicked the ball to Ronaldo a lot.
They did. And he had the dropsies a couple of weeks ago, so completely fair. Both of them completely fine. Now, it's since come out that there were Sharks fans, and I use the term fans in the way Sifa Talakai did, that racially abused both players, especially Ronaldo, because, look, he had a bad game. Oh. So what? Tweet, geez, Ronaldo didn't play well, and move on.
Yeah.
We both, Terry and I said last week, if you're DMing players, you're terrible. Unless it's, head up or something. Or if you absolutely have to make a fool of yourself, geez, you could, improve if you did this. All right, as soon as you step over that line, put their pictures up and throw darts at them because they deserve it.
That's just, pollution, mate. And, I even think just DMing a player is just,
I think it's ridiculous.
Haven't you guys better things to do?
Exactly right. Put your tweets, put your stuff in the Facebook groups, discuss it and get over it as far as I'm concerned.
Our players don't need any more distractions than what they have already. And I know it must be hard for the modern NRL player, being on your phone, being on social media, being on Twitch, playing PlayStation a lot. Mm-hmm. These guys need to keep it clean, keep it focused. Yeah, they don't need their own fans talking that kind of junk.
Absolutely not. So big ups to both of them. I thought, they handled it very well considering. And once again, I don't follow either, so I didn't see what happened, but just cut out the nonsense, please.
Just stop the racial stuff, come on. We're rugby league. We embrace all cultures in our game. We celebrate it.
We're better than that.
Yeah.
Be better than that.
Put it away.
This Friday night, we saw a big late change to the squad, and unlike our mates across the Dom Uglies, we get our switches in before the deadline. We saw Oregon Kafusi start, and I thought he had his best game at Cronulla by an absolute mile.
You could see the punch immediately when he started that game. It was fantastic having him out there to start.
He broke the line numerous times. He didn't make any line breaks, but he bent the line and quick play the balls. I was super impressed.
Yeah, let's do that again, hey?
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
What did you make of Cam McInnes starting in the 13?
I haven't watched a replay of the game on TV, but, he gets through a power of work. Some good runs. Didn't see him get folded back too many times this week. He has been hit a few times pretty hard this year. I admire the guy because, he's like a little scrap of iron and just keeps going.
Exactly right. He's scrappy dude. We got to Scrappy McInnes. I'm sure I can be more clever than that. Give me time. I liked Oregon Kafusi starting especially. I thought McInnes starting was good. I think Dale Finucane has to come back via the bench. I think we've got our starting side, and I love Dale, but I just want to see his minutes just a little bit less.
We need to manage those, yeah.
Tom Hazelton. Now, didn't get huge minutes, but played very well when he was there. I think he played about 7 minutes, which I was a little bit disappointed by, but I wasn't disappointed by his effort.
Yes.
Does he stay when all our players come back?
Probably not, but there may not be a situation when that happens in the year. There's always going to be injuries, so, it's good we've got him there to call on if we do need him.
That's fair.
But there's some other players in the team who've got the dropsies. Mm-hmm. And admittedly, the conditions weren't great in that second half. The players probably could adjust it a little bit better than they did. Maybe no one gave them a knock on the door at halftime and said, "Hey guys, it's raining." Not to single anyone out, but there were some drops in that second half. Some guys reverting to some past form, maybe some 2020 Jack Williams.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we gonna
He did drop it twice.
Are we going to look at the Jack Williams-sized elephant in the room?
Yeah, look, he's probably thinking, I can't. He's not in a position to be dropping the ball like that.
No, he's not. No, I thought Royce Hunt was very good off the bench this week, and I thought Hamlin Noeli had his best game of the season.
Royce did drop one too.
That's okay. One drop I'm all right with.
It was off a massive wind-up, though.
Yeah, look, true. Yeah, actually, now you mention it, that was super frustrating. I don't know what he says at halftime, so Fitz, but let's get that right. I think Hunt is, he's got the size. I think Kafusi's got to stay there. Toby Rudolph obviously comes back in. So does Dale Finucane.
Yeah.
6 don't go into 4. And I think Jack Williams can count himself lucky that Dale Finucane's still 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the very obvious slot.
Yeah, but we've got a luxury of patching up any issues we have with suspensions or injuries. So, we've got a deep squad. So let's be happy we've got these guys who can come in.
We certainly
genuine
do.
first graders.
What about, speaking of genuine first graders, Wade Graham comes back. It's kamikaze this year, and I absolutely love it. That's the best I've seen of Wade Graham in probably a long time.
Yeah, it does change the mood around the team. Maybe even guys like Matt Moylan play a little bit better too, because he's a peer of his. Mm-hmm. He comes into the side, and speaking on Blake before, he scored a try. Hadn't been playing so well. Coincidentally, so did Matt Moylan. He hadn't been playing fantastic either. Yeah. He got a try. So I'm very happy for those two guys. Wade's definitely got a big influence on that team.
He's got to be there. He's got to be on the bench. I like the way they used him this week too, because Nickera and Teague Wilton are arguably two of the form back rowers, especially Nickera. He's the top 5 back rower
playing
this season,
so hard,
and no one can talk me out of that.
Yep.
Wade Graham comes on in the middle, absolute hitman style. I think it's the perfect for the 2023 Wade Graham.
Yeah.
He's not what he was, and he doesn't need to be.
Nickera was just so impressive, just playing so hard. I don't think we've seen this type of tenacity from him
never
in his career so far. Mm. And you saw when he got over that try at the end, it meant a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It meant a lot. And it meant a lot to the team as well, because, someone would have reminded them this week the last time we beat that team. So, yeah, it was a great win.
Great weekend, mate. I dare say it's good to be a Sharks fan.
Very good. Yeah. Better than being a Cowboys fan or a Dragons fan.
Jerry.
Talk to me, Dan.
Sorry. Mitch. Let's talk some top sport tips, mate. Now, I know you watch the show every week, of course, but you've never been on. So what we do is we tip the teams we think are going to win, and we're never wrong, ever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No asterisks. Last week, Terry and I got a perfect round combined. I think legitimately this week too, for the first time this season. But so think long and hard about these, because we have a legion of thousands of people who live off every word.
Several people, yes.
Several people. But look, Thursday night this week, game of the round.
Oh, if it's the Bunnies and the Panthers you're talking about, yeah.
It certainly is. Grand final rematch from a couple of years ago. The South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Penrith Panthers, both teams flying high off a big win. What are your thoughts?
If there's a sin bin in the game and it's a Panthers player, I'd say Bunnies.
You the Bunnies, yeah?
Yeah.
Big if, though. Will there be a sin bin in this game? Almost certainly, but...
Yes, there probably will be. There might be 2 or 3.
Well, there you go. If you can get on sin bins via our great mate at Top Sport, get on, because,
over 2.5 sin bins.
I like where you're going. I think Penrith will be too good. I think the Colin Matangi out for South is just too much to overcome. Plus, I think Penrith losing Liam Martin actually benefits them also.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
You're not concerned about the points they've got in them after that Newcastle game?
Oh, I think that was they scored 400 points in the 2 weeks preceding, so not really.
Yeah, okay.
Newcastle can drag you down and play some pretty terrible football.
Yeah, I'll say Bunnies.
I'll go Penrith.
Woola, everybody. Dan, thank you for sending me here. This is absolutely sensational from you, mate. I couldn't be happier. Let's talk about Friday night. At 6 o'clock, the Eels taking on the Broncos at Parramatta. Going to be an absolutely cracking game. Parramatta found a little bit of form against the Dogs, but convincing. Great win. Mitch Moses again, absolutely on fire. I'm spewing you stitch me up in our fantasy league and I missed out on him. But I'm gonna leave with the Broncos on this one here. I just think that they're the form team in the competition at the moment. They had that hiccup against Canberra. They've got enough points in them to trouble Parramatta. I know Parramatta have really tightened their edges up at the moment, but I think the Broncos will get away with this one in a very, very tight contest. looking forward to this. This could be the game of the round.
Saturday 5:30, the real game of the round as the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs
Prime time slot 5:30
host
Saturday.
the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Now, I'm going to tip the Bulldogs to jinx. Tell me why the Sharks can win, and then tell me the Bulldogs will win to further jinx.
Well, we saw a really good defensive effort from the Sharks this week, keeping the Roosters scoreless in the second half and keeping them to 2 tries in total. Fantastic effort there.
Big.
Might have been a bit of luck involved, but Bulldogs attack. When you're relying on quick shifts to Adokar, who's, he's not there anymore.
He's not there?
And Burton Bombs, which are, we saw Ronaldo have a stellar game under that high ball on Friday night. So
We did. Plus, last time we played him, it was pouring rain and Will Kennedy didn't drop a bomb from him. He might have been one, but whatever.
They didn't even look like scoring that night. And, I don't see that changing.
But you're going to tip the Bulldogs, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, jinx. Jinx.
Reverse jinx.
I think this will be a good game. I think I'm going to tip the Dogs on camera, but if Cronulla lose this game, I'm going to be very, very disappointed because the Bulldogs are going to, you and I might get a spot out there because they're down some serious troops.
Well, how many points would the Sharks need to score to win the game? 11?
Probably 12. I think we got 30
They got 4
in us.
today. Bulldogs got 4 today.
So, Bulldogs.
Yeah, Bulldogs are, yeah.
Bulldogs.
Yeah, look, next game on the agenda for us is the Cowboys and Knights up in Townsville. Going to be an absolute cracking game. Again, Newcastle on some really good form, pushed Penrith all the way to the limits. Cowboys, what can you say about them? Probably the most disappointing team in the first 7 rounds of the competition. Big expectations on them. Coach of the year, all this kind of stuff. The draw is a little bit tougher for them this year. A little bit more travel, and we're just seeing them not play some real good footy. And on that note, I am going to tip Newcastle. I just think that they're playing with a lot more heart, a lot more continuity. They're playing for each other. I think Tyson Gamble has been a great addition into that team. His combination that he's got with Jacko Hastings, Lockie Miller, everyone's playing some good footy. I'm going to give the advantage to Newcastle in this game. Not by much. Close game. Could be game of the round contender. Won't be. Newcastle for mine.
Sunday 2 p.m, another game in the 4X Cup, another Queensland Derby as they all are now. The Titans and the Dolphins. Now this is a game I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, this should be fantastic. Both are looking to try and peg back the Broncos in the standings for the 4X Cup.
Yeah, got a lead.
Who will be at Suncorp in this game?
I don't know. I should check that.
No, I think I dare say this would be.
It's definitely a time.
So you'd be expecting a pretty good crowd. Titans fans, they do maybe like to travel up to Suncorp. It's a bit of a ride on the train or whatever. But yeah, I can imagine it's going to be a great atmosphere.
It's going to be huge. It'd be close to sellout. A non-Broncos game selling out up there is previously unheard of. I dare say that more Titans fans will be at this than home games because they seem to live in Brisbane and not travel down to the Titans.
That is true. A lot of Gold Coast people do end up taking the M1 up to Brisbane. Sellouts that don't involve the Broncos. I've been there for a couple. Socceroos games and Brisbane Roar games. I've been there.
Loopholed me.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, definitely not the Queensland Reds though. Unless not in the last decade.
See, Queensland rugby. That other game, we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, but after seeing the Titans' effort this weekend, I think the Dolphins were quite admirable against the Rabbitohs. A bad 10 minutes, they got blown away, and that had happened to most teams against Rabbitohs.
Yeah, look, it's happened to better teams at Shark Park in round 1. But I'm going to go the Titans, 1 because I have to, and 2, AJ Brimson should be back. Now, I heard some people online say, what do you do with the 4? Like, how do you shift them when AJ Brimson comes back? As if Tanner Boyd isn't a borderline Queensland Cup player. You punt him to the sun and you put AJ Brimson in at 6 or at fullback. I say fullback, Campbell in at 6 and make 4 in the 7. They're like, what about your kicking game? When's Tanner Boyd ever kicked well?
Yeah.
I think it's super simple. I think AJ Brimson comes in at fullback. I think the Titans win, and handsomely.
Yeah. Tanner Boyd's got a backup career as the little kid in The Incredibles anyway, doesn't he?
Tigers versus Manly. I know what you can say about the Tigers. Like most of the teams coming off the bye win their games. For the Tigers, last round 2 points is 2 points. That's about as good as it gets for them. Manly against Melbourne were absolutely flawless. This is going to be a tough one for the Tigers. I know it's at one of their 413 home grounds, but Manly's got too much class, too much talent. They're going to run away with this game. It's going to be 13 plus. Book Tommy Turbo in for man of the match. It's going to be a long season, Tigers fans.
And look, let's be honest, the main event of the weekend, the Anzac Day clash, it's one of the games every single season, for good reason too.
Yep.
This year, the 4 p.m. kickoff, or 4:05, the Roosters are hosting this year against the St George Illawarra Dragons. Usually, form goes out the window in this game, but the Dragons are so bad, I don't know if that applies this season.
Do you think they'll be able to send the right starting lineup out this week?
It's funny you mention that. So those who didn't see, they sent a wrong lineup or made a late change. It cost them an interchange for kickoff. Can't remember the last time that happened.
Yeah, you know things are going bad if you can't, cross
Put a
your T's
piece of
and
paper.
dot your I's. Right.
But I don't think it matters which 17 they name. I think they're going to get flogged.
Well, what happened? Did they just forget the team that they named?
I
And just
honestly
said,
don't
you
know.
run out, mate. You're closer.
I don't know. And why you would play him by at any point, let alone starting, is beyond me. I think the Roosters offer, a okay performance against the Sharks, but not overly great. I think this is where they kickstart their season.
Yeah, I was waiting for them to kick into gear all Friday night. They would have just needed probably 10 good minutes against the Sharks, and they could have won the game. Turns out the Sharks had that in us, and they'll turn it around. They're covered in superstars, so
13 plus, get on it, 100% guaranteed. Ding.
Storm versus Warriors now. This is what I'm here for. What a game this promises to be. Down at Amy Park, disappointing performance from Melbourne. New Zealand continuing to win, continuing to play well, showing some good signs in there. Sean Johnson playing some absolutely fantastic footy. Sean Nickel Clockstar. He's playing, arguably back to his 2019 form at the moment. The Warriors pack, they're standing up, they're matching everybody at the moment. We've seen firsthand just how devastating they can be. For mine, this is a tough one to pick. Probably the hardest game to pick. I'm going to lean with Melbourne in Melbourne. I think they're a different kettle of fish down there. They get to spend the whole week in their bed thinking about how bad their performance was against Manly for New Zealand. Going to start seeing some miles get in their legs at the moment. That's a tough game against the Cowboys. I'm really looking forward to this one here. Glad I'll be home for it. I'm going to pick the Storm in an absolute beauty in this game.
Thanks again for watching this week's edition of Rugby League Outlaws. We're of course brought to you by our great mates at Top Sport and the Stubby Club. Just want to thank Mitch for coming on, mate. What would you make of being on the couch?
Thanks for having me on, even though my height and moustache is not as formidable as Terry.
You'll like that.
Give me 6 months and I might be able to get a moustache of some sort.
You'll be sweet, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, mate.
Huge
Super
weekend
fun.
of Rugby League coming up. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. Thanks so much to people who jumped across. I know it shouldn't be that difficult, but it is. When you change something even slightly, people just drop out of habit. So
Our algorithms suck, mate.
They certainly do, but I like to think this show didn't. And you know what doesn't suck? Rugby League, baby.
Hey, Rugby League.